Correction, the last email sent out was at 7:24 a.m. this morning.
Oh, look at that. The man, look at that. 7:24 in the a.m.
Step away. You're about to be cuffed.
What does that mean, get him judged? That could be you. How would you like to be held in contempt of court for something you didn't even know you were supposed to do? And then we write, get him judged. What's up, people? Mark Breyer, the husband and wife law team. A little bit different out here because it's not just someone talking about the law. It's not even just a lawyer talking about the law. I'm actually a trial lawyer. I go to court. I fight for people. That's what we do here at the husband and wife law team. And I always try to give some takes on things that you guys ask for. First of all, let me say this. Thank you very much. Thank you for all subscribers. We are going so fast to 100,000. YouTube's going to have to set us some sort of record of all time for legal content on our way. So if you have not subscribed right now, I want you to know that you're in a minority right now. That's what it looks like because so many people are subscribing. For those who have subscribed, thank you. If you've not subscribed, please hit the button. But also, guys, I don't know what you want to hear about. I've been doing this too long. I need to know your thoughts. Please comment. Let me know what you think, what you don't think, what you'd like to hear more of. Now, let's get into today. So we got a judge who's kind of made himself by his own choices, and maybe even he wants to be talked about. We got a judge in Texas, really out there right now on social media. A lot of people talking about, people ask me to comment. And then we found a whole string from the courtroom of what this judge had to say. So I'm going to share my thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Here we go. Judge Miller on. What you got to say?
Of course you don't.
And you're disjoined from the audio here, right?
Yeah, should be.
Let me see. Sorry.
Mariah, did I make this up?
5 seconds. 1 second. You don't have to go far. You're disjoined. Okay. Yeah, you're good. Okay. False alarm.
No, it wasn't a false alarm.
False negative. Sorry.
Don't joke around. I'm serious about this. It was happening again.
I understand. I'm just saying I can't see it, sir.
We're good. Thank you. Get out of my courtroom. Find his supervisor. Jesus Christ.
Sick and tired of this bullshit.
All right, guys, listen up. Let's have a discussion about how your ignorance is hurting people. That's gonna be number one. And number two, the role of a judge in our system before we get into number three, what we just saw there, because almost everyone's probably like, you gotta be flipping kidding. So let's go to number one. Your ignorance is putting people in jail who shouldn't be there. Might be keeping people out of jail who should be there. Might be taking money from people who shouldn't have money taken from them. Yes, judges matter. They are the referees of our system. Imagine you had, just to make an example, a game you loved watching and officials, referees, umpires, whatever, who had no idea what they were doing or did it all wrong or were totally biased.
You're the boss.
That's what happens if you put a judge on the bench that shouldn't be there. We're not talking yet about this judge. Take the elections of judges seriously in those parts of the country, like in Harris County, Texas, and other places that elect judges, because it does matter. So that's number one. Be careful. Your ignorance could actually come back to haunt you or someone you care about or your community. Okay. Number two, the role of a judge in our system. Yes, it's to get it right. But you are also, when you're up there on the bench in the robe, you are an example. You stand for something bigger than yourself. How you are viewed, how you interact with others, your judicial temperament, it matters. It's not just your ruling, it's how you conduct yourself. So what we just saw here, now we'll get into it, that would have been relatively rude. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I was a little unsure here. I thought there was some miscommunication. I thought the IT guy was just trying to be lighthearted and joke. I thought the judge took it seriously, but that doesn't mean he's a bad guy, right? A bad dude. It doesn't mean that necessarily. We don't know. If it was a misunderstanding and you're just standing somewhere and you're not wearing the robe, it happens. It stinks, but it's part of life. No big deal. When you are a judge sitting on the bench, robe on, you stand for something bigger than yourself. And you just kind of sent this guy out and went after him because all he was saying is, I don't see a problem. He didn't call you names. He didn't imply bad names. I'm going to say this. I don't want to pile on at this point. This is the only video I've seen. We all have bad days. Also, I don't know what the IT expert, when he's off the bench says, but you see the judge watching him, then he says, let me see your supervisor. So I'm not willing to assume that that guy didn't say something that was super rude or he shouldn't have said, because in the same way I'm saying, when you're on the bench in the robe, you stand for something, it stands for something both ways. We owe a respect to our judges that's different than the guy on the street, at least when they're in the role of judge. But here's my favorite part. My team has assembled more clips of this judge. I am the first one to admit I want to say this, but I feel like many times I say something and we keep playing and I'm like, I take it back. I just want to be on the record that as of right now, I've seen just this one clip, and I want to give the judge the benefit of the doubt. We didn't hear what happened off camera. It did feel like miscommunication, where I thought the guy wasn't trying to crack on him at all, but I think he took it that way. I think that was not perfect, but I'm not full on attack mode. And now I'm afraid because they have me watching a bunch of clips, what we're all about to see together.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
Get out of my courtroom now. Mr. Rhodes, tell me why we're here today. You asked for an emergency hearing from my clerk yesterday verbally.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, we're here today, Your Honor, because the court set the emergency hearing for.
Because you requested one, sir.
Your Honor, what happened was.
You didn't appear at my hearing yesterday again.
If I may respond, Your Honor.
Please, I'm waiting.
I don't know who wrote attorney has an attitude. I don't know what I'm missing, but I didn't hear an attorney with an attitude. I saw a judge with an attitude. Now, maybe the judge had a right to have an attitude because we don't know what happened to get here, and he just made it sound like he didn't show up. But attorney has an attitude would be a mislabel, a mischaracterization. It makes you wonder who put that up. But anyway.
Non-appearance for yesterday. The short answer is that it was not on my calendar.
If you don't show up for something the court has calendar, the court has a right to be upset. Now, sometimes judges go way too far with that and forget that they were human too, and they have made mistakes too, and there may be no prejudice outside of inconvenience, but it's on the lawyer if you don't show up, whether it was on your calendar or not. Although so far it feels like he's going to accept responsibility, the lawyer will.
Any of the other 6 hearings you didn't attend on your calendar?
Your Honor, I don't believe it was 6 hearings that I missed.
Do you want to go through the record again?
No, Your Honor.
By the way, if you actually miss 6 hearings ever, let alone with the judge, there's something in your office in terms of how things are being calendared. Something is going wrong that is highly unusual.
What happened on yesterday as relates to a hearing, as the court is fully aware, there was a TI hearing in which was denied regarding the sale of the sign.
And you're getting ready to go back to the ancillary and try to overturn me again, right?
No, I'm not going to do that, Your Honor.
I assure you, you're not.
Here's the thing, and I'm speaking generally because I don't know the mechanics of what's going on here. Judges get overturned. That's the way it works, right? If you're a judge, you give your best ruling. Someone above you in the appellate court or somewhere else has the opportunity to say whether or not you made the ruling right. So generally speaking, saying that you can't overturn me, but here it feels like maybe it's like an end run around that's going on. So it could be a little bit different. But generally, if you're a judge, you should make your best ruling and then defer to the people above you. They have the power to overturn you if that's what they choose to do. By the way, does that even make sense? Overturn you? So I make a call on the field, but they go back to replay in New York and they get to decide whether or not they agree with my ruling. If it happens, it happens. I made the best call I could. I shouldn't even make calls based upon what New York's New York. I should make the right call as I see it and then allow someone else who's got a different role to do their job.
There's been communications between me and opposing counsel, in particular, going back and forth and trying to get the matter resolved as the case would be. It wasn't until late yesterday, Your Honor, not to violate attorney-client privilege communication, it wasn't until late yesterday.
By the way, that's a really tough spot that lawyer's in. What's said between you and your client is just for you and your client. If you reveal what's said between you and your client, you may have undone the attorney-client privilege the client's relying on and needs. However, there might be times where you have to explain something as to what happened to the judge on timing, like going on here, where the only way it could have been explained is what your client told you. So now the lawyer's in a tough spot. He's trying to make sure he doesn't tell the judge what his client said, but he kind of needs to tell the judge what the client said. So you got a lawyer who's actually in a tough position. And sometimes it happens like that, where I got to figure out a way to word this that doesn't reveal attorney-client privilege, but also explains to the judge that, hey, I'm on the ball. There's a reason why there was a delay in this.
To go and see if we could have it modified. At that moment.
Why would I modify it after you've had 6 weeks to modify it?
Your Honor, I was instructed to do it by my client.
Where's your client?
My client.
I instructed him to be here today. Where is he?
Okay. I have no.
I'm about to issue a bench warrant. Where is he?
Your Honor, I have no idea where my client is at
Okay.
this moment. But Your Honor, may I explain?
You may not. I'm asking where your client is. You don't know.
Your Honor, if I may explain. When I called in the court The court advised that we had an emergency hearing scheduled for this morning.
At your request.
I advised my client of the emergency hearing on a status conference. The emergency hearing on a status conference.
That he was ordered to appear at.
Your Honor, by the time I got the order, I was driving when I was speaking with.
I understand you did it late in the day and I did it late in the day.
By the time I got the order and tried to reach out to him, I could not reach out to him. I could not contact him.
Why don't you contact him right now and see where he is?
All right, if I can, the judge has a right to be upset. Now, I don't know the whole detail because the judge and lawyer disagree, but you know how many different cases he has? Do you know how hard it is to schedule an emergency hearing because they're so overwhelmed? So he schedules an emergency hearing and says the client has to be here. The client's not there. Does the client matter? Usually not in most situations. This could have just been, if you're gonna make me interrupt my really, really busy schedule, you're gonna show that you, client, care enough to be here. So I don't know what's going on, but because I have some criticisms along the way, let's understand that these judges are overwhelmed with cases. We usually don't have enough judges for the amount of cases that have to be moved through the system. And so to create this hearing is not a simple thing. You see all the lawyers around here, all the lawyers surrounding, they all had to create time too in their busy calendar. So a lot goes on for an emergency hearing that's in person, that's happening here. And he said, I want your client here, your client's not here. He's got a right to be annoyed in most situations.
I'd like an address where he is because I'm about to send out the constable.
So I don't get the get him judge. Can we just roll back what we already know here? His own lawyer has said, I was not able to reach him because this was just set yesterday. The judge's like, well, you're the ones who asked for it to be set yesterday. Yes, judge, I know. But if I find out at 5 o'clock that I have a 9 a.m. hearing, there's a chance I will not connect with my client, even though I asked for it. Why is the client already going after the party who might not even know he's missing anything? What does that mean, get him, judge? That could be you. How would you like to be held in contempt of court for something you didn't even know you were supposed to do? And then we write, get him, judge. Who's writing these things on this? Did you guys write those things?
I think it might be a burner account. Yeah, it's his burner. The judge's burner.
You can't say it's a judge's burner. You can say you would guess that. We do not know whose burner it is.
Allegedly.
It's been alleged by people that it's a burner account, but I do not even allege the allegation. I am not in any way involved in the allegations being made by people off screen as to who wrote that. Someone is a fan of this judge who in this moment, you have a right to be a fan of them generally, but get them judged for the person who doesn't even know they're missing the hearing and you want the person to be held in contempt and have a bench warrant and then potentially they get pulled over for speeding and now they're in jail and they didn't even know they missed anything and that's cool, get them judged? Like, what?
It's his wife's account.
I am not agreeing it's his wife's account. I have nothing to do with any of this. I am not responsible for the voices off the camera. I just want to be clear, they don't even think that they're just making it up. They're not saying it's fact. It is not fact. It is just their wild guesses.
It's an alleged joke.
I'm gonna need an alleged new social media crew when you guys get allegedly pulled over. This man's gonna issue a bench warrant for someone he knows doesn't even know about the hearing. You think you're safe?
Don't drive through Texas.
All that I
Tone.
did.
Please record your
And this
message.
is what I get. I've sent an email, I've sent text messages.
When did you send the last email to him?
Interestingly, that's actually attorney-client privilege as to when I sent the email. But the judge kind of wants to know because otherwise he's gonna issue this warrant. Again, this is where it gets a little complicated.
Probably at about 5 o'clock this morning.
Why don't you show me that email?
Definitely attorney-client privilege.
Mr. Rhodes, frankly, I don't believe a word you're telling this court at this point.
This is about to get really interesting because he's looking up the email. So he's ready to waive attorney-client privilege. He knows if he sent that email at 5 in the morning, we're all about to find. What do you guys think right now? Because I'm so conflicted on whether he's about to find this email and show the judge he's wrong or whether the judge knows this guy in a way we don't and knows the lawyer might not be telling the truth. This is a big moment. I don't know about you guys, but my suspense is building. Man, he's scrolling through a lot of emails since 5 in the morning.
Deputy, find out who's in my ready room, please.
How many emails could you have since 5 in the morning that you would have to scroll that much?
Correction, Your Honor, the last email sent out was at 7:24 a.m. this morning.
Oh, look at that. The man, look at that. 7:24 in the a.m. I have no idea what he was scrolling through the whole time, but 7:24. Judge, you don't believe me? Pow! How you like me now? I'm in the mix. All right, let's see what happens.
Okay. And your client doesn't want to respond to this case?
What? The client may not have seen the email that got sent at 7:24 in the morning.
Does your client want to prosecute this case anymore, or should I
Yes.
dismiss it?
No, yes, he does, Your Honor. He does want to prosecute the matter. Your Honor.
Where is he?
I have no idea where he.
Go find him right now.
May I be excused?
Yes? Mr. Rhodes, any luck?
No, Your Honor. No luck in contacting him.
I want you guys to know something. Generally, parties are not required to be at most hearings. Your lawyer is there on your behalf. So I'm not saying that considering you asked for an emergency hearing, there's no space for this. So I'm not being critical. I just want you guys to know this is kind of an odd situation. You called the lawyer a liar. That's what you did. The judge just said, I don't believe a word you're saying to this court. And then boom, look, just like I said, and there was no, I'm sorry that I doubted you. I'm sorry I said on the record that this court does not believe a word you're saying, when it turns out you're telling me the truth. And now it's just, all right, I don't care that I called you a liar. Now we're on to this next thing. How about, I'm sorry I was wrong.
Mr. Simpson, Attorney Simpson, was able to contact the daughter, who advised that he was in Port Arthur. And also provided me with another number. I tried contacting that number multiple times, and it just goes straight to, actually, not even voicemail, says that it's full. So.
It's clear to me your client doesn't want to prosecute this case. Why didn't you appear for 6 weeks?
Before we answer that, we know from what he has implied, his client asked him yesterday to set an emergency hearing to prosecute the case. We know if we believe the lawyer, and so far he's the one with credibility, that he hasn't been able to reach the client since that time. So the client didn't know he had to be there. Now, maybe for the 6 weeks before this, he didn't want to prosecute the case, but we haven't seen that yet. So let's see what the judge has to say.
And then you appeared last week on Friday. You didn't appear yesterday. And now again this morning, you're requesting emergency relief from this court.
Actually, Your Honor, as I mentioned earlier, I did not appear yesterday because the hearing was not on my calendar. When as directed by my client to see if there was availability to have an emergency hearing, not today, but later next week.
Well, you're not getting anything later next week. I promise you that.
I completely understand, Your Honor.
Because you just asked for emergency hearing and I'm ready to go and all these other people are here. So I'm not giving you another chance later this week. So the courts are overwhelmed too.
We wanted to have the hearing this morning, and I advised the court that we were not seeking a hearing to seek relief for today.
Well, but that was after you requested relief from my clerk. And she reached out to me late yesterday afternoon.
Sucks being the lawyer in this situation. You want your client to answer. You want your client to get on the phone. It all happened very quickly, so I'm not blaming the lawyer, but I once showed up for a small thing and the client needed to be there to testify and didn't show up. We still won. That's a whole different story. That was a fun one. But there are sometimes you really wish you could reach that client.
Tell me what I do to make this right for everybody else in this courtroom that has spent their time and money this morning.
I don't have any suggestions, Your Honor.
It's a fair question. All these other lawyers are being paid a huge amount of money by the hour probably to be there on an emergency basis. Now they waited all morning. Now, if you don't have an answer as to how to make it right, what's the judge gonna do? Now, I do have an answer. There's two answers. One is very expensive, so you're probably not gonna suggest it. Your Honor, I apologize for the inconvenience. We know there's some costs to the other side. We are willing to accept the responsibility for those costs because that was our doing and we accept that to move this case forward. Usually not a reasonable way forward because only a case that's really large can afford that. Another thing you could say is, honestly, I am sorry, Your Honor. I don't have an excuse. I understand the inconvenience that was created for everyone here. We think the merits of the case are more important than the impact on the attorneys and parties, even though we respect it and apologize for it. And we would ask that the substance of the case and the merits of the case be allowed to move forward so justice is done as opposed to what's most convenient here today for all of us. It's easy for me to say because I don't have a judge bearing down on me who's giving me a hard time. But if you say to the judge, I don't have an answer, you're making it a little easier for the judge to potentially go, all right, well, here's my answer. Peace out. There's no more case.
All right. Well, I do. You're going to pay sanctions in the amount of $5,000. Get out of my courtroom now.
Number one, who's paying sanctions, the client or the attorney? Because the attorney is representing the client. So are you actually making the attorney pay sanctions because his client wasn't there? Because that's not generally how it works. Are you sanctioning the client who didn't even know he was supposed to be there? Are they jointly sanctioned? And by the way, get out of my courtroom. This is not a reality TV show. You are a judge. To say get out of my courtroom absolutely does not live up to the way we should act when we are on the bench, in my opinion.
That's the second time he said get out of my courtroom. Send it to the IT guy.
Yeah, get out of my courtroom. Like it's some sort of reality TV show. This is the problem with electing judges too, because you may sit there as a voter, you would go, yeah, get him, judge, get him, judge. These judges are deciding lives hang in the balance. There is a time to be that way and there's a time to be above it. If you're ever in a courtroom, I guarantee you, win, lose, or draw, you want to think the process was fair and not something that was a show for voters. Get out of my courtroom. What? Get off my island. Get off the stage.
Back where you
No, this is a courtroom. Show respect for what you're a part of. Get out of my courtroom.
And those sanctions are payable by you directly, not your client. I will sanction him directly in the future.
That's crazy. $5,000 because my client asked me to do something on an emergency basis. I did it on an emergency basis. My client didn't show. Now I'm responsible. Look at it from the lawyer standpoint. He got a call the day before going, I need you to do it, right? By the way, everyone thinks, oh, lawyers are paid. Lawyers are paid. Some are, but many lawyers are just getting by. So a $5,000 sanction over a hearing like this is a really big deal. I do get the other side of it. I do. That $5,000, where's it going to go? If it goes to the other parties to help them offset their costs. But the other thing is, was there really $5,000 of money spent for that day? I don't know. What was the purpose? It wasn't explained. I'm not a huge fan of the way it was done.
Y'all on the 8:30 docket, have a seat, relax.
If the 8:30 docket is still there, then that would suggest that we were not off the record for hours and hours, potentially. He just gave $5,000 for an admitted inconvenience, calendaring problems on his part, but it doesn't sound like it wrecked an entire morning.
Find me a bench warrant. I want him arrested.
So then he issues a bench warrant for the person he knows knew nothing about it. He doesn't do it while the lawyer is still there to give him the opportunity to actually argue that point. So he just made a ruling after people left the courtroom, which you can do if you take something under advisement. We never saw him take it under advisement. He just decided, you know what? I haven't shown my power here enough today. Let me go do this as well. And by the way, be careful what you wish for. This is how you want judges to act.
To the last clip we just watched, what do you think about the fact that just a few days ago, that judge posted that entire YouTube video that we just watched to his own personal Facebook?
I'm sure there's many issues, but let me discuss the one that comes to mind first. This is the problem with judicial elections. When we vote for president, how much of our electorate is truly informed on what they're voting for? So how likely are we to be informed on our judges? But judges have the right to want to get reelected if they think they're doing a good job. And he probably thought that that interaction, whereas I feel like while I understand some of his rulings, there are times where it's not just your ruling, but your temperament on the bench. He may think that people go, yeah, get him, until it's them or someone they know or someone they care about. He does have the right to want to be reelected. It's concerning to me that if he posts that on his own site, thought that would be a good look. I do think for many people would, because I don't think people realize that in effect, some guy just got a bench warrant and might get sanctioned on top of that for something that he didn't even know existed. Is that cool? Why would that be cool if it was you or your family or your neighbor or your friend or your coworker? No. But you see it on here, you're like, yeah, I want justice. That's not justice. It's just an angry response because you've been inconvenienced and you have the power to respond that way.
Come on up on cause number 2025-63758. Ambles versus Palmer.
We had our points to go along with our presentation.
I don't have time for a PowerPoint. I have a jury in the box. Let's come up here and have your hearing.
By the way, that is tough. When you're a judge and you have a jury that's impaneled, which is what he just said with a jury in the box, you got regular people missing time from work and you have other things going on and you do have to move them. Is it a trade-off? Yeah, because someone put together an entire thing that matters a lot to their client and their case and they're trying to present it. And again, this is because we don't have enough judges and we don't put enough money towards the judicial system. And so we end up in a situation where either a bunch of people who are missing work because they're on a jury have to lose more time, that's bad, or someone has a case they have to present that might be kind of complicated, so they have a whole presentation and the judge doesn't have time to hear it. Not blaming the judge, it's a problem really with the system more than anything.
Judge, we're here on a plea and abatement. The defendants filed a plea and abatement.
Show notice of hearing for that, Mariah.
It was a motion to transfer venue and plea and abatement.
I see the motion to transfer venue. Where was the plea and abatement?
They were filed in the same document.
When was the notice?
Judge, may I briefly respond?
Sure.
And this is the a portion of the joint venture agreement where SNCP is signing this agreement on behalf of
I
its.
can't read that.
Okay. Those are the overlapping stores between the stores outlined.
You're wasting my time this morning.
No, Judge. I mean, we have an overlapping issue in these two cases.
They don't seem to be that overlapping to me.
Well, we have the same
You
parties.
want to go to Jefferson County because you want Jefferson County jury.
No, I mean, Judge, we're the defendants in the case.
Okay.
We're they're the plaintiffs. We haven't filed either one of these cases. They filed this case
Plea and abatement
first.
is denied.
All right. I've been in front of many judges of every type. So first of all, it's absolutely true that if someone files a lawsuit against you and they pick the county that's good for them, you may well want to go to the county that's better for you, which is not evil or wrong. It's you saying they purposely picked this county, judge. I want to be in a different county. The judge saying, well, you just don't want to be here. That may be. That's not the question, Your Honor. The question is, under the law, am I in the right place? Because here's another case going on in a different county. We should be a part of that case. He can disagree, and he may be right. I don't know the merits of the case, but you're wasting my time this morning. You're the judge, and I've been sued here, and I think we should be over here, and it's going to cost us way more, and witnesses are going to have to testify in 2 trials, and we can get verdicts that don't even make sense together in 2 trials. I'm not wasting your time. I'm here to fight. You don't have to agree with me, Your Honor, but you're wasting my time. Is such a look at me on the soapbox. And I will tell you, I've been in front of many judges in many counties. I don't have an opinion on the ruling and the substance. I have an opinion on those kind of comments. So a lawyer who's trying to do her job for her client.
We filed a proposed order, but I have one here if you want.
I'll take it.
Jeff, you want to briefly respond
You
about?
may not.
Well-
This hearing is done.
She's asking for sanctions.
Deputy, remove her from my bench now.
And he was in such a hurry to be done that the lawyer who lost is trying to say is in that document you're about to sign, Judge, is something we didn't even talk about. She's asking for sanctions against me or my client or both. Who knows? We already saw what happened. Maybe sanctions are just thrown out like candy here. Sanctions are supposed to be for really misappropriate things, not just for getting stuff wrong. Half the people walking in the courtroom are going to lose, okay? In a boxing match, half the boxers are going to lose. It doesn't mean they did something so bad they should be sanctioned for losing, right? When you compete, when you're out here in court, you have the right to put forward your best argument and lose and not be sanctioned for it. Right now, there's sanctions in here. Get her out of my bench. This is, you're everyone over there right now. Go ahead. You can put in the comments. Go ahead. I hear you. I hear you. You know what, Mark? We need judges who are matter of fact and bold. Okay, wait till it's you. Wait till it's you and you want someone who will not pick a side, okay? You cheer for a team, you expect the referees and the umpires and the people involved to have zero bias and to do things the right way. That's what you expect. Not get mad and sanction people because he doesn't agree or not be willing to hear things out.
No, you may not. This hearing is over. Jesus Christ, these people today. Step away. You're about to be cuffed.
I've been trying cases for about 30 years. In all that time, and all the judges of all the temperaments, of all the backgrounds, that stuff's straight out of the movies. You're about to be cuffed for what? For just trying to get in another word?
What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
Now, I don't see what happened. I don't hear everything that happened, but it appears this judge really must like the power of being a judge. And I think that's concerning. And yet someone posted this thinking it was a good thing. I probably came across as really harsh about some of the way that the judge acted. I recognize it's hard to be a judge. I recognize these judges are overworked and overwhelmed. I recognize they have to balance a lot of different things in the system. I recognize some lawyers show up unprepared. I get all that. Get out of my courtroom. You're about to be cuffed. Sanctions. To me, it's about more than just getting the call right. That's important. I don't know if you got the calls right or not. It's about how you act. And I think that you should consider that because it could be you. Now, here's my question. Did you guys like hearing my take on this judge? The people behind the scenes say we have way more clips. So if you want to hear me talk more about some of what this judge says, or if you want to see me talk about some other judges said, and by the way, right over here, check it out. Right here, YouTube's screaming at you. If you like this, check this out as well. Muslim White Law Team, let us know and we will see you next time.